Scientists have finally been able to read the oldest biblical text ever found. The 2,000-year-old scroll has been in the hands of archaeologists for decades. But it hasn't been possible to read it, since it was too dangerous to open the charred and brittle scroll. Scientists have now been able to read it, using special imaging technology that can look into what's inside. And it has found what was in there, the earliest evidence of a biblical text in its standardized form. Gadget and Tech News, in pictures. Show all 25. Russia has launched a humanoid robot into space on a rocket bound for the International Space Station, ISS. The robot Fedor will spend 10 days aboard the ISS practicing skills such as using tools to fix issues on board. Russia's Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin has previously shared videos of Fedor handling and shooting guns at a firing range with deadly accuracy. Google celebrates its 21st birthday on September 27. The search engine was founded in September 1998 by two PhD students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, in their dormitories at California's Stanford University. Page and Brin chose the name Google as it recalled the mathematic term Google, meaning 10 raised to the power of 100. Chief engineer of Lift Aircraft Balazs Skrlo demonstrates the company's hexapersonal drone craft in Lago Vista, Texas on June 3, 2019. Microsoft announced Project Scarlet, the successor to the Xbox One, at E3 2019. The company said that the new console will be 4 times as powerful as the Xbox One and is slated for a release date of Christmas 2020. The passages, which come from the Book of Leviticus, show the first physical evidence of a long-held belief that the Hebrew Bible that's in use today is more than 2,000 years old. The discovery was announced in an article in Science Advances written by researchers from Kentucky and Jerusalem. It described how the researchers used a tool called virtual unwrapping, which provides a 3D digital analysis of an X-ray scan. Read more. Read more. Ancient cemetery could solve one of the Bible's biggest mysteries. Read more. Ancient cemetery could solve one of the Bible's biggest mysteries. By using that, it was the first time that researchers have been able to read an ancient scroll without actually opening it. "You can't imagine the joy in the lab," said Nina Shore of the Israel Antiquities Authority, who participated in the study. The digital technology, funded by Google and the U.S. National Science Foundation, is slated to be released to the public as open-source software by the end of next year. Researchers hope to use the technology to peek inside other ancient documents too fragile to unwrap, like some of the Dead Sea Scrolls and papyrus scrolls carbonized in the Mount Vesuvius volcano eruption in 79 CE. Researchers believe the technology could also be applied to the fields of forensics, intelligence, and antiquities conservation. The biblical scroll examined in the study was first discovered by archaeologists in 1970 at Ein Gedi, the site of an ancient Jewish community near the Dead Sea. Inside the ancient synagogue's ark, archaeologists found lumps of scroll fragments. The synagogue was destroyed in an ancient fire, charring the scrolls. The dry climate of the area kept them preserved, but when archaeologists touched them, the scrolls would begin to disintegrate. So the charred logs were shelved for nearly half a century, with no one knowing what was written inside. Last year, Yosef Porath, the archaeologist who excavated at Ein Gedi in 1970, walked into the Israel Antiquities Authority's Dead Sea Scrolls Preservation Lab in Jerusalem with boxes of the charcoal chunks. The lab has been creating high-resolution images of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the earliest copies of biblical texts ever discovered, and he asked researchers to scan the burned scrolls. "I looked at him and said, 'You must be joking,'" said Shore, who heads the lab. She agreed, and a number of burned scrolls were scanned using X-ray-based microcomputed tomography, a 3D version of the CT scans hospitals use to create images of internal body parts. The images were then sent to William Brent Seals, a researcher in the computer science department of the University of Kentucky. Only one of the scrolls could be deciphered. Using the virtual unwrapping technology, he and his team painstakingly captured the three-dimensional shape of the scroll's layers, using a digital triangulated surface mesh to make a virtual rendering of the parts they suspected contained text. They then searched for pixels that could signify ink made with a dense material like iron or lead. The researchers then used computer modeling to virtually flatten the scroll, to be able to read a few columns of text inside. "Not only were you seeing writing, but it was readable," said Seals. "At that point we were absolutely jubilant." The researchers say it is the first time a biblical scroll has been discovered in an ancient synagogue's Holy Ark, where it would have been stored for prayers, and not in desert caves like the Dead Sea Scrolls. The discovery holds great significance for scholars' understanding of the development of the Hebrew Bible, researchers say. In ancient times, many versions of the Hebrew Bible circulated. The Dead Sea Scrolls, dating to as early as the 3rd century BC, featured versions of the text that are radically different than today's Hebrew Bible. Scholars have believed the Hebrew Bible in its standard form first came about some 2,000 years ago, but never had physical proof, until now, according to the study. Previously the oldest known fragments of the modern biblical text dated back to the 8th century. The text discovered in the Chardin Jetty scroll is 100% identical to the version of the Book of Leviticus that has been in use for centuries, said Dead Sea Scrolls scholar Emmanuel Tov from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, who participated in the study. "This is quite amazing for us," he said. "In 2,000 years, this text has not changed." Noam Mizrahi, a Dead Sea Scrolls expert at Tel Aviv University who did not participate in the study, called it a very, very nice find. He said the imaging technology holds great potential for more readings of unopened Dead Sea Scrolls. "It's not only what was found, but the promise of what else it can uncover, which is what will turn this into an exciting discovery," Mizrahi said. Additional reporting by Associated Press. More about Bible. Join our new commenting forum. Join thought-provoking conversations, follow other independent readers and see their replies. View comments. Get in touch. Contact us. Jobs. Our products. Subscriptions. Newsletters. Install our apps. Archive. Other publications. International editions. Independent and Espanol. Independent Arabia. Independent Turkish. Independent Persian. Independent Urdu. Evening Standard. Novaya Gazeta. Extras. All topics. Voucher codes. Advertising guide. Syndication. Legal. Code of conduct and complaints. Contributors. Cookie policy. Donations terms and conditions. Privacy notice. User policies.